Hello and welcome to the UK Direct to Business podcast. This show was born out of our drive to help and support you in running your business that little bit better. My name is Sue Wilcock and I am founder and managing editor of UK Direct magazines. And today we are joined by Gemma, aka Rosie Cairns, CEO of ROL Cruise.
I found the CEO at the Times email address and emailed him to tell him why I thought that was a bad policy. You can spend too much time making small decisions when you should let that sit with somebody else so you've still got the energy. I probably had, if I'm honest, a bit of imposter syndrome at the beginning. It's a huge privilege and it's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. As I stepped into a more senior role, I'd probably say to myself, trust your gut feeling. Don't try and fit a mould that isn't you.
ROL Cruise helps its customers find their dream cruise holidays. But the people behind the brand are innovating beyond just cruises. After a successful transition into an employee ownership trust, the brand has become one of the UK's top 100 places to work. Find out how Gemma navigates the balance of power in an employee-owned business, as well as the surprising way she gets herself motivated to face the day. Today's episode is brought to you in association with Affinia, the accountancy and tax advisory firm helping businesses and individuals make better financial decisions with confidence. This episode is a little different as I was unable to host due to losing my voice, but my co-host Rob Thacker, CEO of Sona Insurance, did a brilliant job at the helm. So sit back, relax and enjoy this conversation with Gemma Cairns.
Hi, I'm Rob Thacker. I'm the CEO of Sona Insurance, and it's my privilege today to be hosting the UK Director Business podcast. And my guest is none other than Rosie Cairns. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a delight to meet you, and it's great to have the opportunity to chat about business. Sue sadly can't be with us. She's indisposed, which I'm sure she will explain herself at another time on the podcast. But I'm just going to ask you a few questions, if that's all right. So firstly, I think I have to ask you is, not necessarily confusingly, but you are Rosie, but also Gemma.
That's correct. Yeah.
So do you want to explain to us the story behind that?
So when I started at ROL, it was 16 years ago, when I joined in the sales department. So there were 10 Gemmas within the sales department.
Wow.
And when you're talking to customers, you're selling them the dream. What I didn't want was them ringing back saying, I've spoken to Gemma, I want to speak to her again, and another Gemma
Yes, you lose the sale.
getting my booking, getting my commission. So I made the decision to change my name to Rosie.
Okay.
I thought that was quite a pretty name, but it also resonates to a lot of customers. I'd often get asked if my real name was Rosemary.
Yeah. Rosie's nice.
Yeah. And then it's never really been a good time to change it back.
No.
So it's a confusion everywhere I go.
And when you were choosing it, was there any kind of inspiration behind that? Was there a Rosemary?
There wasn't a Rosemary, so
that
made it easier.
Yeah.
Just went for Rosie. It sounded a nice name, and it was obviously lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So 16 years later, you're CEO. Tell us a bit about that, Jen. So did you start from school? Was it your first job or? No,
so there's actually a funny story. When I started 16 years ago, I was selling mortgages, selling insurance, commuting Colchester to Chelmsford.
Right.
And my friend had told me about this great job in Colchester where you get to sell cruises. And I've always loved travel, so that appealed to me. Nice shifts, a lovely place to work. So I applied and got rejected. And I waited, and then they were recruiting again, so I applied again. Yeah. Got rejected. I'm sure there's a nicer word than rejected.
I'm sure there
is. Got told there were better applicants.
Okay.
And then by the third time I was rejected, I rang up and asked why I'm not getting an interview. So if I can sit in front of you, I'll be able to
persuade
sell myself.
Yeah.
And it was because the policy at that time was you had to have travel experience. You had to already had a job in travel. At that point, I've got nothing to lose, have I? Really? So I found the CEO at the Times email address and emailed him to tell him why I thought that was a bad policy. Yeah. And in my opinion, you can train a salesperson. They can educate themselves to learn any product. Yeah. But it's quite hard to make it somebody into a salesperson. You can tweak, you can enhance, but generally you've got that skill. So I told him to trust me. I believed I could sell the product. Yeah. I felt he was missing out on local talent. and took a risk. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but
No, but I think...
but I got an interview.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be confident, haven't you? Yeah. So it wasn't because there were too many journalists, which is...
No, I mean,
that might be why.
Could have been part of it as well, but no.
Kind of another one. Yeah. Oh, okay. And so started in sales, and then did you, I mean, obviously you've ended up in the top job. So did you move about? Did you become? How did you progress through the business?
So I stayed in sales for 3 years. Obviously,
Right.
had to prove quite quickly that I was right, and that you could learn the industry, which I did. And then I moved into a role that was a sales development role. So then I worked with training anyone that joined the company.
Right.
A lot without travel experience to pass on sort of skills, and honing everyone's sales skills and things like that. And then progressed through various management roles. In 2018 was managing director.
Wow.
And then last year, on my 15th anniversary, became CEO.
Okay. And transitioning from managing director to CEO. So I'm kind of interested in that, because it sounds, they're similar roles. They're not the same role, because presumably there was a CEO.
There was.
So is the CEO still about? Is he the old former CEO?
When I became CEO, we also sold the company. It
Right.
became employee owned.
Yeah.
He's an exiting shareholder, so he's still around. I meet him for lunch, but he's not involved in the business at all. We had an ambition to do this for quite a few years. So while I was in the MD role, he was stepping further away and probably was acting more as a chairman really. So it was quite a natural progression.
Good.
And certainly through the pandemic, that gave me quite a lot of tools to
Oh
to navigate with.
Yeah. How did it go in the pandemic? I mean, what did you have to furlough people, or did you? I mean,
we couldn't actually, because the pandemic was obviously an awful time for everybody, personally and work wise. The cruise, I think we had it particularly tough, because cruises stopped sailing in March, and they didn't start again for 16 months.
Right. Okay.
And obviously, do you remember the traffic light system we had where you could still travel?
And they were like those sick ships kind of things, weren't they? Those sort of,
Yeah, and you had like eat out, help out schemes.
Yeah.
So there were lots of industries that, although it wasn't great for those 16 months, they had snippets of business carrying on, whereas cruising had to halt completely. What we had to do is we book quite far in advance. So our average from booking date to when the cruise goes is way over a year.
Yeah.
And the difficulty was nobody knew, so we could only deal with 6 weeks at a time. So we had to constantly be servicing our bookings, constantly talking to customers, telling them that their cruises are cancelled, trying to book them onto something else. So we were busier than ever, because we've still got all of our customers to look after.
Yeah.
So we couldn't actually take advantage of the furlough scheme at all.
Okay.
But on the flip side, I think because of what we did through the pandemic, and we kept everyone working and we serviced the customers so well, I think that's why our bounce back was so strong.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have to suddenly go out and recruit anyone or get the strength back within the team. We kept it. So
okay. So do you and forgive my ignorance, but do you take payment on the cruise, or do people pay a deposit? So you kind of got cash, but really it's the customer's cash in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
potentially.
They pay us a deposit, we then pay it to the cruise line.
Right. Okay.
And that was part of the trouble. You're then waiting on the cruise line to refund you, so that you can refund the customer. And everyone, I think cash flows were a little bit tight at that time. But
yeah, scary. That sounds scary. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't like talking about them.
No, should we move on? Should we just move on? So one question I had for you, and more of a not necessarily a glib one, but do you go on the cruises? Do you get the opportunity to do that? Is that part of the kind of process?
I do, yes. We're very lucky. It's something we believe in quite heavily at ROL, is everyone experiencing the product. So we send as many of our staff on as many trips as we can. We've had a few that have just come back from Antarctica and the Galapagos.
Really? Wow.
Some amazing trips.
Yeah.
Myself, I go to a lot of the launches. So if there's a new ship launch, there'll be a sort of a christening party. So I go for 1 or 2 days, because the longer ones would be lovely. But there's children at home and time out the office. So everybody else tends to benefit a little bit more than I do. But
So you're a mum, a couple of young boys, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. 7 and 4.
That's a busy. From what I remember, my son when he was young, it's a lot of running around.
It's a lot of running, climbing, and
Yeah.
loudness.
Yeah, if they can't jump off it, throw something at it, or climb, it's all. They don't want to do it, do they? Yeah. And how does that work with? Do you have a routine with your job? Because it must be you got to get them to school, presumably. That's job of the day.
Yeah.
And then work, and somehow hope that they don't need you.
Yeah, not turn up and not brush your own hair or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, I'm here. All right,
Yeah.
that's enough. How do you have a routine? Do you have?
I do. So
Right.
I'm a bit strange. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So that I can sit in my house and have a coffee undisturbed.
Nice.
And I really enjoy that hour
Yeah.
before the mayhem starts. Then it's full on. Getting myself ready, getting the children ready. My husband takes the boys to school because it's 5 minutes from work.
Nice.
They're getting older now, so they do a few more clubs, which makes it easier. But between us, my husband works at the company as well, so
that's handy.
we have to weigh up if there's if one's ill. We will discuss between us who's got what on, what's
You're
happening.
the boss.
I am. But it's in my interest if his work's also if we're
true.
doing something with a phone. He's in IT.
Okay.
So if we're suddenly rolling out a new phone system, then
Yeah.
he'd take the priority. But it tends to be me. But
How do you find? I mean, I suppose working with your husband can that be tricky, or is it not really?
go through stages, I would say. Sometimes he'll say to me, "Don't talk to me like I work for you." I say, "This isn't how I talk to people that work for me." I talk to them nicely. But it's sometimes the pandemic was probably, going back to the subject I don't like to talk about, was probably the most stressful time because he's in IT, so we had to move our 140 members of staff all home working whilst I was dealing with the day-to-day running of the business, and we had no childcare. So that was probably the tensest time we've had, but we tend to try not to talk about work too much because you need some downtime.
And how much, as CEO, how much time can you spend with the team? Because obviously, really, the money's made when they're on the phone for the sales operation. Do you get to kind of, do you do that sort of managing by walking around thing? Is that your style, or?
Yes, I do a lot of walking around.
Right.
Over the last year, a few changes we've made as well, becoming employee owned. So I meet monthly with representatives around the company.
Okay.
And talk to them about what's going on, what they feel. So they're all involved in the future of the company and the overall strategy. Yeah. And then you get a feeling of how everyone's, responding in different areas. I make sure those meetings don't have any managers or hiring, so it's actually talking to all of our staff. Right. We do a lot of celebrating, so we celebrate success a lot because you've got to, haven't you? So we have quarterly events. So we just did a music bingo. Which was very different.
That's amazing. It's such good fun, isn't it?
It was really good fun. We do drinks on the lawn, and we always have a big annual party. Okay. And then if we've got something to celebrate, or we've had a good month, I'd take a drinks trolley round, become everyone's best friend.
It's such a good shout. A drinks trolley. Then we need more of that in companies. I think
it takes up a bit of time, but when you do it, it's really worth it because you get to chat to everyone. It's good. So. And
I am intrigued by the employee ownership thing because it sounds like sort of almost a sort of socialist idea, but am I right in thinking you set up a trust? Is that how it works? So there's a trust that now effectively owns the company. Yes. So if you're an employee, that trust is sort of making the bigger decisions, I guess. Is that how it works?
So the trust is the majority shareholder,
right?
Which the beneficiaries of the trust are all of the staff. We now, since we've become employee owned, we now call all our staff co-owners. Okay. Just so I'll tell you now in case it gets confusing as I talk. So the trust is there to look after the beneficiaries, the co-owners' interest, but the interest is the asset. So the trust's responsibility is to try and grow the asset, to make it stronger. Okay. But the trust meet as a collective board. Right. But the day-to-day running of the company is still the existing management team. Right. Okay. And obviously we're acting in the best interest of the company, so they both work quite well together. Yeah.
So you have your management team that reports presumably to the trust, but is there some crossover? Are you on the trust too?
All the management team reporting to me. Yep. The director, the reporting lines all stay the same, but I'm a representative on the trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've got myself, and then we have two of the exiting shareholders.
Okay.
And then we have an employee representative.
Okay.
And then we have an independent
Right. Okay.
individual as well. So it's there if there's something controversial. Say, for example, if I wanted to go and purchase 10 high street shops.
Yeah.
And not, then you'd maybe take a vote as to whether that's in the interest of the beneficiaries. But day to day running of the business, we're a strong business. We do very well, so it hasn't interrupted anything that we do.
No. Okay.
Do in that sense.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So I guess if you have an idea, ultimately you can explore it with the leadership team, and then I guess you take the proposal to the board and kind of say, look, this is where I think we need to go next, and then that becomes that next discussion.
With some decisions, with a lot that I wouldn't do that because it would slow down business. But if there was something sort of considered that could be detrimental to the business, I would. But generally, day-to-day decisions I would still do as normal.
Yeah. And then, is there now you're in the CEO role? How different is it to MD? I guess your old CEO's gone, so he showed you the ropes, and now is it kind of do you have to create a new vision, or was the vision always quite clear?
The vision's always been really clear, and I think that I've done a lot of interviews this year because it's our 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
I get
Congratulations,
asked
30 years is extraordinary.
We're very proud.
Yeah, you should be.
Now I get asked that a lot. What changes have you made since you became CEO? And I think that's the brilliant thing is our company was already strong. We had great foundations. I don't need to make my mark and prove I can run the company by bringing in a new idea. So it's tweaks, it's enhancements, it's carrying on with what we do and getting stronger. When I became CEO, it was at the same time. It was in tandem with us becoming employee owned. Right. So it all sort of changed as well.
Yeah, that's actually quite a good line, isn't it? Really, for the change. A new structure, a new CEO, away you go. Yeah, and so presumably, if you're profitable, then there's a sort of profit share that's agreed by the employee trust board, and then they all benefit from that.
They do. Yes.
Is it quite lucrative for them?
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
We at the moment we're still, so when we went we sold the business, we have deferred consideration, so we're still paying some of the debt off.
Right. Okay.
But we're still making more profit. So we have a profit share bonus that we pay to every member of staff.
Right.
And you can pay 3,500 of that tax free.
Okay.
Which obviously is worth a lot more to.
Is that because it's an employee ownership?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realise that.
And we're very transparent. So we'll share our forecast, what we're aiming for, what that will result in for everyone's bonus.
Yeah.
So far, we've overachieved every time. So it's
Okay.
good. And then we tie a celebration around it.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds. Yeah. That's incredible, actually. And I think that I think it's the future, isn't it? Employee ownership trust. I think.
Yeah. I mean, our exiting shareholders have had an ambition for quite a while to sell the company.
Yeah.
We'd discussed prior to the pandemic doing an internal MBO.
Right.
And then obviously with the pandemic, that had to be put on the back burner for
Bets are off, aren't
work,
they?
cash flow and things like that. And throughout the pandemic, we had our workforce working the hardest they've ever worked. We had to make some tough decisions as a company to keep the company strong.
Yeah.
So everyone was working harder than ever, but for less money. And I think the feeling that became so evident to us was it was because everyone felt like it was their company. Everyone was working together to make the company to survive. So once we got over the other side of the pandemic, all I'd said for 12 months was thank you. How can I ever thank you for your loyalty?
Yeah.
How can I ever thank you for sticking with us? Because there wasn't much else I could do. And then when we looked again at what we could do moving forwards with the exiting shareholders, employee owned, I don't think anything could have fitted better. I think it felt like it was made for us.
Yeah.
And the results since have been incredible.
And what are you doing about people coming back? Have you gone back to this kind of, you've got to be in the office again, or are you now hybrid?
So we had the opposite. A lot of our co-owners didn't want to work at home. They like being in the office. They like the the team around them. That's what motivates them. So they were all really keen to come back into the office.
Okay.
But how we do it is we're quite flexible. Sometimes you need to work at home. Sometimes your boiler breaks and you've got to wait in for someone. I'm being employee owned, but it's also things I'd have wanted to have changed as a CEO. I don't think you should ever have to miss a nativity play because of work and things like that. So we're very flexible, but mainly office based.
Yeah.
With flexibility around it. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Because, I mean, a lot of companies is just saying, oh, everyone's got to come back now. And it just feels like they don't trust them, in my opinion. It's like, I need to see you. It's kind of like, is that really necessary? You employed people. If you don't trust them, you should employ them, in my view. But,
It's not, it's more from our point of view is everyone, it's that team spirit. It's the morale. It's what makes ROL, so everyone prefers to be in the office.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because you must thrive in that environment. That's on your own, unless you can do it. There's only so many Teams calls you could do to be motivated, isn't it? Yeah, fair enough. And then outside of the kind of the businessy stuff, I say businessy stuff, you do some charity stuff as well, don't you? You're involved in various things.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
So it's really important to all of our co-owners to be giving back to the local community. So that's something we've done a lot of the last year.
Okay.
So we started with the corporate sponsor of SIFT, which is the Cultural Institute.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
we help sort of fund the difference for students that maybe wouldn't be able to stay in education.
Right. Wow.
So we work with them. We get case studies sent to us every month. Obviously their names are changed, but we can share them with all our co-owners of a difference that we've made.
Okay.
And more recently, we started doing charity days. So when it's meant to be a work day, you can go and help. We've done the local food bank.
Oh, wow.
St Helena, which is great. It's great it's a great feeling to know that you've made a real difference. As well as we support Macmillan and do lots of local things, shoebox appeals and
okay.
And we've recently partnered with On Hand. So it's a desktop where any co-owner can go on at any time, and you can select things to do and you get points. So you can if there's a person that needs help who can't read the back of the tin of beans and see if they're still within date, they'll show you on their video phone and you can help them.
Wow.
We write cards to people that are in hospital and things like that, and you can do that at any time and it's just there. So
wow. Okay. And they're called, what's it called?
On Hand.
On Hand.
Yeah.
Wow, I've not heard of that. That's a really good idea, because
it's a great platform.
Also, I guess it integrates with work, so you could just kind of do that and then get back to the job kind of thing. Wow, that's such a good idea. So it's nice that do you have a kind of like a preset ethos, like a set of values that you have as a business that you work to, or is it, because it feels like it's maintained its culture from the off, really? Is that something that is defined?
Yeah, we've always been about quality.
Yeah.
We're defined as being the UK's #1 cruise specialist because of the service. That's what we're known for and been known for the last 3 decades. But we've always known that the reason we can deliver that quality is our co-owners, is the length of loyalty we've got within the company. So I think we've never underestimated that. 56% of our staff have been with us for over 10 years.
Wow.
Got one lady that's been there from the start.
Wow.
Many that are in 20 years of service, and that's how you can continually deliver the service that we do.
Now seems a great time to take a break and talk to you about our podcast sponsor, Affinia. Affinia is an accountancy and tax advisory firm helping businesses and individuals make better financial decisions with confidence. From everyday accounting to long-term strategic planning, their team is dedicated to understanding your goals and supporting you with proactive advice that truly adds value. In particular, payroll can be one of the most demanding administrative tasks in any business. So why not leave it to the experts? Affinia's dedicated payroll team handles everything from payroll processing and statutory requirements to pensions and year-end reporting. With accurate, efficient and fully compliant payroll support, you're free to focus on running and growing your business. Discover how Affinia can support your payroll requirements at affinia.co.uk.
So, Rosie, given it's a very sales-orientated business, what challenges do you think you face in terms of managing a team of salespeople, rather than, you're not, products are being supplied by the cruise companies. but your job is to sell it. So are there particular quirks around that are worth sharing?
I don't want to insult any salespeople, but they notoriously can be quite selfish with thinking about their commission and things from their point of view. Whereas obviously we do have a big sales force, we have a big marketing team, but we also build our own bespoke packages. So we have a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Operationally, with admin who obviously have to send out the paperwork, customer service that answer the calls. So I think that because sales can see it quite black and white, well, we're the ones bringing in all the money. It's been an objective of mine to educate that they do bring in the money, but without everything else that goes on behind the scenes, we wouldn't have the client retention, the money wouldn't keep coming in. So that's been a challenge. And transparency helps with that, because sometimes you can look at it very black and white, look at the commission and not realise all the other overheads that go into it and things like that. So,
but presumably you have a structure around. So presumably the sales guys get a base salary of some sort, and then and presumably the sales kind of, I guess, commissions, they ramp up based on how successful you are.
Yes.
But I can see that people tend to think they're almost running the company when they make a lot of sales. You know, it's and because I mean, I was thinking that with any sort of travel company, what you really want to know is actually everything is going to run like clockwork, and presumably it doesn't all the time, does it?
No. So it'd be nice if it did.
Oh, if only. Getting that phone call at the airport or whatever, it's gonna. So do you do that sort of package thing where the cruise is somewhere, and then you organise the flights and everything that is associated with that, hotels and all of that?
We do, yes, we do. Bucket list. Probably sounds nicer to say inspirational journeys, doesn't it? Yeah. But we do trips, so we would add on land tours to Machu Picchu or Iguazu Falls, so make a bit more of the cruise itinerary. But the logistics of that are quite difficult. So we'll do a lot of train journeys as well.
Okay.
Those that don't want to fly, and then you can sell a certain product, and then we sell it 2 years in advance. If you sell too much, you then got to find all the components. There's a lot that goes on behind it, but we do a lot of our own packaging as well.
And are you able actually to advance book that? I guess maybe you are. It's the travel industry at the end of the day. I guess people are taking bookings, but 2 years sounds like that's a long time, isn't it, to wait for your holiday? But
with cruises that you can book, they launch up to sort of 3-4 years in advance. But the flights, we still the normal 11 months price. We have to use previous experience and guess what the price will be roughly. But we've got a very experienced team, so they're quite good at that.
They know what they're doing. Wow. I hadn't realised it was quite so. Well, I mean, I should realise really. It's not, but hey, that's your expertise. That's why you're the specialist. I was sort of going to ask you. So, I see you're a bit of a reader. What's this here? Last good book?
The last good book I read was A CEO Only Does 3 Things.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. What are they? I think I've read that one and I can't remember.
It was people, culture and money, basically, are 3 things to concentrate on. Quite interesting. There's lots of little snippets I took from it. So things like you can spend too much time making small decisions when you should let that sit with somebody else so you've still got the energy. One thing that really sort of stuck with me was in the morning, there's a lot of people that will just put on the same outfit every day because they don't want to use their energy thinking about what clothes to wear. Because by the time you sit in front of the TV, how often are you exhausted by making decisions? And you think, what do I want to watch? I don't know. So saving your energy, concentrating on the bits that are important.
Decision-making fatigue. That's a real thing, isn't it? There's lots of studies around this, isn't there? Around people who, I think, is it judges? I think you're more likely to be let off in the morning than you are in the afternoon because you're just tired of making decisions.
Well, even when you go to Starbucks, I think there's about 50 options, isn't there, for your coffee?
It never stops, does it? And I guess that's the thing, actually, when you're booking cruises and sort of the big trip that you want to do, there's supposedly so much decisions within that as well. I'm imagining your team have to kind of cope with a little bit of that. Oh, just do what you think's right. That's sort of dream come true, customer, isn't it, really? You choose. Oh, okay. Okay. And so, if that's you a fiction reader at all?
Not really.
No. Okay. No. Interesting. And movie fan?
Oh, my husband gets so frustrated with me. I fall asleep after about 20 minutes. He really loves movies, and
Right,
I do. I
yeah.
want to do it, but then
You're asleep.
fall asleep. I'm bad. I tend to go for anything that's, you can watch a series that's 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's they are ideal, aren't
Yeah.
they, for the viewing period. I've been watching on Sky, I think called Hacks.
Oh, okay.
Which is there's a comedy about an aging comedian and her writer, and it's hilarious. It's so good, and it's short.
Oh, I'll give that a
So
go.
yeah, you should give it a whirl. Yeah, it's quite kind of weirdly heartwarming, although it is very funny. Okay, so no particular movie that stands out as you're kind of like, that's my film. No,
That's
okay.
bad, isn't it, to not have anything to say to that?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Music-wise, is there a kind of go-to song artist?
I tend to, every morning when I drive to work, if I've dropped the kids off or if I'm not, before I always play Eye of the Tiger really loudly to sing along to it before I get into the office.
That's brilliant.
A little while ago I had an accident in the car. I hit something, and the repairman said, "Did you not hear that you'd hit it?" And I was like, "No, I'm just singing
I'm selling this up."
voice.
See, that's the sort of snippet you're not going to get anyone on any other podcast. You're never going to hear that sort of thing. That's brilliant. Yeah, and that is a proper rile up song, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm ready for my day.
And it helps me forget that I've just been nagging for 10 minutes to get your shoes on, and
done your
just
homework.
5 minutes of shouting at the top of my voice.
Yeah. Okay. And then into it. So you don't live too far from work, so that's kind of handy. And then do you do a long day? Do you do do you have to do late nights, or do you disciplined?
It obviously depends, but I'm quite strict with myself because it's easy to just get lost in the day, and before you realise it's 6:30.
Yeah.
I like to be home for bath time and bedtime, so I do try, and I think it's something, even if I have to log back on later because I want to finish something off. But that's always my aim. But running a business, you never know what might crop up, so it's But 90% of the time, I'm home at a good time and switch off.
Okay, that's good. And have you taken the family on a cruise? Yeah. Have you taken the boys?
We did.
Is that scary?
We went on a particular ship because we went with my mother-in-law.
Right.
So she picked the ship and she wanted to take us on the cruise, and there wasn't really many children's activities on there.
Right.
So it felt like my loud children went 10 decibels louder as soon as they got on the ship. So it wasn't. And the pool, there's ships you could pick for children that's got flumes and activities. This one didn't have it. So it felt like we just went from each meal time where I had to keep strapping them to a chair to do whatever. So that wasn't the best experience, but we are taking them next year on one that's a bit more suitable.
Good.
There's so much for kids to do. So it was a shame we took them on that one first of all.
It's just, sometimes the mother-in-law isn't right.
Yeah.
But don't tell her that. She won't listen.
No.
It's fine. So, Rosie, recently won an award. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
We have. We're absolutely delighted. So it's with Best Companies. So we did our first independent workplace survey.
Right.
So obviously everyone answers completely anonymously.
Yeah.
Their opinions on the company, how it's run, our values, their management team. So you first of all get accredited. So we were accredited their highest 3-star, which was world class. So we had a celebration for that.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the November, they launched their top 100 companies.
Right.
So ROL Cruise won the number 1 employer for East of England.
Wow.
Number 1 for hospitality and leisure.
Whoa.
Number 2 for mid-sized company. And 4th overall for any size company.
Wow.
So,
that's an incredible achievement.
Yeah. Absolutely delighted because it's from our co-owners.
Yeah.
And it's our first attempt as well. So when you do a survey with first companies, you get all the feedback. So you can go again the following year, keep making improvements.
Yeah. Well, I can be a bit cynical about awards giving because I think sometimes it feels like, well, if we bought a big table at the awards dinner and all that kind of stuff, but for this, there's no escape.
It can't be corrupt.
No, exactly. The employees have to give the right answers. So, congratulations on that. That's a fantastic result. And then a sort of final question, I suppose. You've been with the company 15 years. You've ended up as CEO. If you were to kind of look back at your younger self in the business, maybe even when not long after you started, Is there anything your younger self might say to you, or you would say to them at that point in their career? Any sort of wisdom shared in either direction potentially?
I'd probably say from the very beginning when I started,
Yeah.
I'd say to myself, trust the process, work hard,
Mm.
you'll reap the rewards. Don't doubt that.
Okay.
And I think as I stepped into a more senior role, I'd probably say to myself, trust your gut feeling. Don't try and fit a mould that isn't you because you feel that you've got to be more corporate or you've got to fit into a certain way of running the business. Certainly myself, I probably had, if I'm honest, a bit of imposter syndrome at the beginning. It's a huge privilege and it's a lot of responsibility. And you start questioning, can I do this? And actually all of the evidence you can is behind you. So trust your gut feeling on things. Don't be afraid if it breaks the norm to say, I think this is the right thing for the company. It's my company. I know what's best for it. And have the confidence in that would be what I'd say as I stepped into the more senior roles.
Yeah, I think we all suffer a bit from imposter syndrome, don't we? I think we don't talk about it enough, but it's almost as you reflect on a career, it's kind of hard to believe you've got here. Yeah. Because you didn't think that's where it was,
No.
When young you arriving for your first day at work.
I certainly didn't think I certainly didn't think when I emailed the CEO saying, please give me a sales job, that would be where it ended.
Right,
so I like reminding him about that.
Yeah, you should. You should. That makes it even better story, doesn't it? And I think that's the thing with business. Sometimes the story is really important. Yeah. Anyone who starts today with ROL, they're thinking, well, hang on a minute. Our CEO started in my job.
Yeah, it shows that my journey shows that there's a huge amount of possibilities for anyone at ROL. We're really big on that. We tend to promote internally. We don't do a huge amount of external promotions for senior roles. Because that's what makes us who we are, that everyone knows a huge amount about the company, how we work, the length of service and the knowledge and the expertise. Yeah. So I think I'm proof of that, which always makes your message easier if you can put some weight behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like you've done all the jobs as well, so that also makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does.
I've done that job, and I used to do it this way, or talk to me about this because I do understand.
And they can see I've rolled my sleeves up. I've done different jobs.
Yeah,
and it's given me a really sound understanding of every area of the business that all links into overall make a successful company. So I wouldn't change that journey at all. I think it's really good to have done that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you get the respect, from the team, and I think that's key, isn't it? I think sometimes people are dropped into jobs where they don't entirely understand what goes on, and it leaves them kind of on the back foot a little bit. But you haven't got that. Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for listening. It's been an absolute delight to meet you, Rosie. Thank you for making the time to come and see us and talk about, the company, which is extraordinary. Yeah. And good luck for the future with it all. And maybe we'll get you back when you've done another 5-10 years, and the company's even bigger. So thank you.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the UK Director Business Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, then visit our website, ukdirectormagazines.co.uk, where you can listen to more episodes as well as download our library of magazines, Suffolk Director, Norfolk Director and Essex Director. Don't forget to join our UK Director Business Club, where you can enjoy a whole host of benefits, including exclusive content such as unedited podcasts, free tickets to our events, and so much more. See you next time. Goodbye.